Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm back at y'all with another Budget Ballers episode. This is episode number 2. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of my favorite forwards out there. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So we're going to start off with Iain India. India is a winger playing in the championship right now with Sheffield. And this guy is a serious baller. He's got ridiculous feet. I mean, some of the dribbles that I've seen this guy pulling off are absolutely unreal. And it's not just that, he's also got great strength for a winger, and that combination of tight technique, he's able to fool players into getting too tight to him and just using his strength to shove them off and use his feet to turn around in all one quick motion. It's beautiful to watch. He's a really, really fascinating player, especially on the ball. And to top it all off, it seems like he has really good decision making in and around the final third, which when you put all of those attributes together, he's a really, really dangerous inverted winger, running at defenders, creating chances, taking shots. He honestly reminds me of a profile of kind of like a Marcus Rashford, Cody Gakpo, Heung-min Son kind of a player. He's an ideal final third player. He's the guy that you want making the final pass, making the final decision in and around the box. He's the guy pulling the strings for your team. Really dangerous player. Let's take a look at some numbers. So this is kind of the profile that I was talking about. You can see it, the creative numbers are instantly jumping off the page. Super balanced between passes, dribbles. Again, he's playing more in the half spaces just outside of the box, so he's not taking as many touches in the final third, especially compared to other forwards, so that's understandable why that's going to kind of stick out as the lowest number in that category. But with everything else, you're seeing just how elite he is at progressing the ball. And this guy, I mean, again, coming in off of those half spaces, he is a brilliant, brilliant player. And that defensive work rate is super huge as well. The tackles, blocks, and interceptions, it's showing that he's getting it done off the ball as well. I know Sheffield and just the championship in general, it's kind of more favored to a defensive style. There's going to be a lot of battling that happens back and forth, but I think that his work rate is serious and that strength definitely plays into it, and that's going to help him translate to the top level. And I think that Premier League clubs should be looking at this guy. The one thing you could say you would like him to add to his game is a bit more goal scoring consistently, but I'm just not really sure that's his game, and I think that's okay. You know, if he's adding all of these other things and supplementing a number 9 who needs that sort of help around the final third, someone to create those goals and those chances, I think this is the guy to link him up with him. I really think this guy's a really, really special talent. And we're actually going to keep it in the championship for this next player right here. We got Victor Gyökeres. So we're going to keep it in the championship for this next player. This is another forward, Victor Gyökeres. This is another one of those kind of hybrid number 9s, similar to Mateo, who we looked at in the last episode. So when I call these guys 9.5s, what I mean is that they're not necessarily a 10 to where they're a creative midfielder, you know, that link between the midfield and the attack. But they're not an out-and-out number 9 either, playing in and behind the defenses, you know, or backing into the back line, calling to the ball for feet. They're kind of doing a little bit of everything, where they're dropping deep to open up the space for their wingers, dropping in behind sometimes when they can exploit those gaps, doing a little bit of both. I think we saw those type of forwards really come into fashion with teams like Liverpool and Manchester City, who have never really had, well, City have in the past, but recently haven't had the out-and-out number 9s that we're kind of used to seeing in English football. You know, obviously they're back to it with Haaland this season, but recently these teams that have been dominating the league over the last few seasons, not having a traditional number 9. And I feel like these are the players that clubs are going to be looking towards in the future, and that's why guys like Retegi, Gyökeres are going to be getting looked at by Premier League clubs, in my opinion. So anyways, I just got sidetracked on a little tangent, but back to Gyökeres specifically, I feel like this guy is doing a great job of getting himself involved in different aspects of the attack. For Coventry, he hasn't necessarily shown the prowess to play in possession as much. I feel like he's more of a transitional player, so for teams that are looking to play on the break consistently, I think this guy should be someone they are looking at. He's also a solid tackler as a forward, which is, again, stuff that you need if you're playing in those transitional pressure style teams, you know? I'm imagining him potentially landing somewhere like a Leeds, something like that, you know, those type of play styles. According to Transfermarkt, he's entering the last season of his contract with Coventry, so that could mean that a little budget pickup is on the books right there for some club out there looking for a player of this style. All right, you know what comes next? It's time to jump into the numbers. And this is what I'm talking about with him being such a well-rounded number 9. He's putting up decent goal-scoring numbers, but everything else is really, really strong. And I think that's what you're seeing with that type of hybrid forward, where he's not necessarily going to be the guy top scorer on your team, but as the second or third top scorer, supplementing a more prolific inverted winger, I think that's the perfect type of guy that you're looking at right here. When you take a look at the number of progressive passes he's receiving and just how successful he is at then carrying that ball forward, that can't be a statistical anomaly. This guy is ridiculous on the turn, and you see it when you watch his highlight videos. He is so strong, but so technical. I think this guy has a future at the top level, and I really want to see him at a Premier League club, because with some more talent around him, I think you could unlock a really, really fun player. All right, so moving on to the last player here, we've got someone who we've touched on this channel before. Jesus Christ. All right, so moving on to the final player of today, we've got someone who we've talked about a bit before on this channel before, Marcus Edwards. He's currently playing over at Sporting Lisbon after everything didn't necessarily work out with him at Tottenham, and I think they might be regretting it soon. First of all, we just got to get it out of the way. This guy is a ridiculous left foot. He can strike a ball like, it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. He's a really, really great dribbler, super shifty, great change of pace. He really knows how to use his hips and his shoulders to throw off defenders. He's got a really, really just unique dribbling style, and it does kind of remind me of what we used to see from Grealish at Villa, the way that he's able to carry the ball, weaving in and out of defenses. Another reason why he reminds me of a player like Jack Grealish is because he doesn't ever come across to me as the type of player who's going to be putting up massive goal or assist numbers. He's more so of a build-up player and someone who's going to help supplement the rest of the attack, transitioning from the midfield phase to the attacking phase. I guess you could say the biggest downside with this, as far as a transfer goes, is that he just joined Sporting this season and he signed up until 2026. So the fee could be a little bit higher for a guy like this, but I feel like there's going to be a pretty low ceiling on that, given that he is playing in the Portuguese league. They're not going to be able to tax something ridiculous. He is English, so I'm sure that will play into it on some level. I'm not sure if a club should be looking at him this season. Maybe let it play out a little bit more, see if he can develop in Portugal before pulling the trigger on what could be a bit of a pricier move. But the talent is unquestionably there, and I just hope that his career doesn't end up going awry because of circumstances and just sliding doors situations. You know, I really want to see this guy succeed because he's a really fun player. Now, before we get out of here, let's just go ahead and take a quick look at his numbers to kind of paint a picture of the profile that we're looking at here. And I mean, you guys see it here as a winger. He's putting up elite numbers in a lot of attacking categories for sure. As a goal scorer with the assists, and of course with the way he's able to carry the ball. I mean, those are all of the attributes that we kind of know him to have. It's more so, will it translate to the top level? Is he completing his game enough in the final third? These are all questions that I feel like are kind of yet to be answered. But overall, he is absolutely a talented player, especially on the ball. The dribbling, man, it is so fun to watch this guy dribble at the fences, at speed. He makes things happen. So that's going to be all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at some of my favorite forwards out there in Europe, some of my favorite budget ballers. I got one more episode planned for you guys for now, so stay on the lookout for that. If you enjoyed this one and you haven't seen episode 1, make sure you go ahead and check that out, and make sure you also check out that Evan Ferguson player profile. That's someone who's not going to appear on this list because I've already done a full breakdown of him. So if you want an in-depth tactical breakdown of that, or a look at any of the other football content, make sure you're checking out the channel, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.